All right, so get this.
Okay.
We are diving deep into the world of nettles.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
I know what you're thinking.
Deep dive.
Ouch. Right.
Right.
But stick with me on this one.
Okay.
Turns out there's way more to these prickly plants than meets the eye.
Okay.
You know, I was looking over the research that you sent over
Yeah.
from a French naturopath named Irène Grosjean.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
Honestly, I'm already intrigued.
Awesome.
She calls nettles a gift from nature.
Yeah, huh?
Which, I gotta say,
Yeah.
pretty far from my initial reaction of annoying weed.
Well, I have to say,
Yeah.
you're not alone in that initial reaction.
Really?
Most people only know nettles for their sting,
Right.
but Irene is right.
Okay.
There's a whole lot of good packed into that prickly package.
So, okay, first things first.
Yeah.
Is it actually wrong to call nettle a weed?
You know, it really depends on your perspective
Okay.
from a purely botanical standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
It's not technically a weed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's interesting.
But I get it. If it's unwanted and pops up where you don't want it,
Yeah,
weed is a pretty fair description.
true.
But hold on to your hats, because what we're about to uncover about nettle
Yeah?
might just change your mind about weeding them out entirely.
All right, I'm ready to have my mind changed.
Okay.
Let's hear it. What's so great about this? Gift from nature.
Well, first of all,
Yeah.
nettle is a nutritional powerhouse.
Okay.
Seriously.
All right.
Did you know that dried nettle is a whopping 25% protein?
Wait, 25%?
Yeah,
That's more protein than a lot of grains and even some legumes.
I know.
No, that's
Huh.
wild.
It's amazing.
No, it's not just protein.
No. We're
Yeah.
talking vitamins A, C, and K, plus a whole bunch of B vitamins.
Oh, wow.
And then there are the minerals.
Okay.
Iron, magnesium, calcium, potassium, silica. The list goes on.
So we're talking some serious nutritional value here.
Oh, for sure.
Now I'm remembering something from the research you sent over.
Yeah,
Irene Grosjean talks a lot about the detoxifying properties of nettle, right?
she does.
Okay.
Irene believes that nettle is a top-notch cleanser, helping your body get rid of unwanted toxins.
Okay.
Think of it as a natural filter for your body.
Interesting.
Nettle can boost your liver function, which helps your body eliminate toxins more efficiently.
So are we talking about a detox tea situation here? I know those are trendy,
Yeah.
but sometimes they feel a little gimmicky.
Well, nettle tea is definitely a good way to incorporate it.
Right.
But Irene encourages us to think beyond the teacup,
Okay.
especially when it comes to detoxing. She's all about using nettle in its most natural forms.
Okay.
Think fresh nettle juice or blending it into smoothies.
Okay.
Even adding those young leaves to salads after.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
You're saying I can add them to salad.
You can.
What about the sting?
You give them a little massage to get rid of the sting, of course.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Massage the sting away. Tell me more about that.
Right. You don't want to end up with the spinging salad.
Right.
But basically, lightly crushing or massaging the leaves neutralizes the sting.
Wow.
Irene is a huge advocate for consuming nettle raw because she believes that's how you get the most benefits.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
It's like eating fresh fruits and veggies versus processed foods.
exactly. Although I have to say,
Yep.
while I do love a refreshing nettle smoothie, on a cold winter day,
Yeah.
a warm bowl of nettle soup really hits the spot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that one.
it's good stuff.
That sounds amazing, actually.
And even though Irene is all about consuming nettle raw,
Yeah.
she recognizes that sometimes you just need a comforting bowl of soup.
Right?
The point is,
Yeah.
there are lots of ways to enjoy nettle and get those detoxifying benefits.
Mm-hmm.
It's about finding what works for you.
So nettle. It's a superfood? AD. A natural detoxifier.
It is.
Anything else I should know about?
So there's more.
Okay, lay it on me.
Nettle has been used for centuries as a natural anti-inflammatory.
Really?
Our ancestors used it to help with conditions like arthritis, rheumatism, and even gout.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's always cool to see how ancient wisdom connects to modern-day health practices.
And in the case of nettle,
Yeah.
the science backs up the tradition.
Oh, cool.
What's fascinating is how it actually tackles inflammation at the source.
Okay.
See, nettle helps lower uric acid levels in the body,
Mhm.
which plays a huge role in those painful inflammatory conditions.
So it's not just masking the pain.
Right.
It's getting to the root of the problem.
Exactly.
I'm starting to understand why Irene calls this plant a gift from nature.
It really
But
is. It's this unassuming plant,
Yeah.
but it's packed with all these amazing benefits.
We've got a nutritional powerhouse, a detox champion, an ADA an inflammation fighter, all in one plant.
All in one.
That's incredible.
I know.
And,
Yeah.
if the research you sent over is correct, the benefits don't even stop there.
Oh, no.
Apparently, nettle is a bit of a multitasker
Yeah.
with some pretty impressive benefits for our skin and hair, too.
You're right.
Okay, so tell me about that.
Nettle has been a staple in traditional beauty and skincare for ages.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
For example, a nettle infusion can do wonders for your hair. It's known for strengthening hair and can even help prevent hair loss.
Okay, now that's something I think a lot of people would be interested in.
For sure.
Yeah.
And for skin, topical application of nettle,
Okay.
whether in a poultice or cream,
Yeah.
can be incredibly soothing for irritation, inflammation, and even help with minor wounds.
Wow.
And then there's this really intriguing practice called urtication.
Urtication.
Yeah.
Okay, now you have to explain that one.
Okay.
What in the world is urtication?
Well, it might sound a bit wild,
Okay.
but it involves gently brushing fresh nettle on sore muscles or joints for pain relief.
Wait, you're telling me
Yeah.
people intentionally sting themselves with nettles to relieve pain?
It's a thing.
Doesn't that seem a bit counterintuitive?
I know it sounds a bit crazy, right?
Yeah.
But it actually makes sense.
Okay.
You see, the stinging sensation from those tiny nettle hairs triggers a rush of blood to the area,
Okay.
which can help reduce inflammation and pain.
Interesting.
It's like a natural form of acupuncture.
Wow. I would never have guessed that.
It's pretty wild.
It's amazing how something that seems so simple, like a plant,
Yeah.
can have such complex effects on the body.
And that's exactly what Irene wants us to realize.
Okay.
She believes that nature provides everything we need for health and well-being.
Wow.
It's all right there, just waiting to be discovered.
That's a really beautiful way to look at it.
It is.
And nettle is a perfect example, right?
It is.
It's accessible, sustainable, and
Yeah.
if I'm understanding Irene correctly, full of vital energy.
Exactly. It really makes you wonder what other plants and natural remedies we're overlooking simply because we don't understand them.
You're absolutely right. This is already such an eye-opener,
I know.
and we've just scratched the surface.
I know.
I'm eager to learn more about how to actually incorporate nettle into everyday life.
Well, I'm ready to share what I've learned, so you're interested in incorporating nettle into your everyday life.
Yeah, I'm really starting to get curious about this.
It's easier than you might think.
Oh, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
I'm all about practical tips.
Well, as we talked about earlier, drinking nettle tea is a great place to start.
Okay.
It's an easy way to get a concentrated dose of its benefits.
Yeah.
You can find dried nettle leaves at most health food stores.
Okay, that seems simple enough.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing there's more to it than just steeping some leaves in hot water?
You got it.
Okay.
There's actually a traditional method that Irene recommends. It involves steeping a good handful of dried nettle leaves in cold water overnight.
Really?
Yeah.
Cold water?
Yeah.
I'd never heard of that before.
It might sound strange, but it actually helps preserve the nutrients and delicate compounds in the nettle.
Interesting.
Then, in the morning, you gently warm up the infusion,
Okay.
don't boil it,
Okay.
and strain out the leaves.
So it's almost like a supercharged cold brew, but for nettle.
Exactly.
Uh.
And this infusion isn't just for drinking.
Oh.
You can use it topically, too.
Really?
Irene recommends it as a hair rinse to strengthen hair and prevent hair loss.
Wow.
You can even use it as a facial toner to soothe and revitalize your skin.
See, I told you, multitasker.
Yeah.
One plant, so many uses.
I know.
What about fresh nettle?
Yeah.
Any tips for incorporating that?
I
I have to admit,
yeah.
after learning about all the benefits,
Yeah,
I'm not as eager to rip it out of my garden anymore.
that's great.
Yeah.
And yes, fresh nettle is incredibly versatile.
Okay.
The younger, more tender leaves are best for eating,
Okay.
like we talked about before.
Yeah.
You can add them to smoothies, soups, or salads. Just remember to massage or lightly crush the leaves first to get rid of the sting.
All right. Noted.
Yeah.
Now, I have to ask about this urtication thing again.
Yeah.
Is it something you've actually tried yourself?
I have.
Okay.
I was a bit hesitant at first,
Yeah.
but I was curious.
Hmm.
I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised by the results.
Okay.
I used it on a sore shoulder that I've been struggling with,
Yeah.
and it actually helped loosen things up and reduce the pain.
Really?
Yeah.
So you literally just took some nettles
Yeah.
and brushed them on your shoulder.
Pretty much.
I'm trying to picture this.
Well, I did a bit of research
Okay.
and talked to a practitioner who was experienced with urtication.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to approach it with care and not overdo it.
Right.
You want to use fresh nettle stalks and gently brush or whip them against the skin in the area where you're experiencing pain.
So it's not about getting full-on stung,
No.
but more about stimulating the area with the nettles.
Right.
Interesting.
The idea is to trigger a rush of blood flow and endorphin release,
Okay.
kind of like a natural painkiller boost.
Interesting.
It's actually quite similar to how capsaicin cream works.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if someone is interested in trying urtication,
Yeah.
where do you recommend they start?
I would definitely recommend doing some thorough research and perhaps even consulting with a qualified herbalist or naturopath who has experience with this practice.
Yeah,
They can guide you on proper technique and safety precautions.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Safety first.
Yeah.
It's incredible how a plant that most people consider a nuisance
I know.
can actually have so many therapeutic uses.
It really speaks to the power of nature, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like we've forgotten that the solutions to many of our health concerns are often right under our noses,
Yeah.
growing in our gardens,
Yeah.
and along the edges of our paths.
I love that imagery.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder to pay attention to the natural world around us and to be open to its wisdom.
You know, Irène Grosjean has this beautiful way of putting it.
Oh.
She says that by using plants like nettle, we're not just cleansing the body, but we're also revitalizing it with its inherent life force.
So it's not just about the specific vitamins or minerals,
Right.
but about a deeper energetic connection to the plant.
Exactly.
Wow.
She believes that plants like nettle are brimming with this vibrant, vital energy that can help us heal and thrive.
Okay, I have to admit, I'm really starting to get on board with this whole nettle is a gift from nature thing.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And honestly, the more we delve into the world of herbalism and traditional medicine,
Right.
the more we discover this incredible web of interconnectedness between humans and the natural world.
It makes you wonder what other hidden gems we're overlooking, right?
It does.
What other plants or natural remedies might be waiting to be rediscovered?
That's a great question.
Yeah,
And it's a reminder that there's so much we don't know, and that's okay.
right.
The important thing is to stay curious and open to learning.
And to be willing to look beyond what we think we know, right?
Correctly.
Like, I would never have guessed that stinging myself with nettles could actually be beneficial.
It's pretty amazing.
This whole deep dive is making me want to go out and explore my own backyard with fresh eyes.
I love that.
Who knows what I might find?
I think that's exactly what Irène would encourage us to do.
Yeah.
Get out there, connect with nature, and see what you discover.
Mm-hmm.
You might be surprised by what you find.
I'm definitely feeling inspired to do some exploring.
Good.
But before we wrap up,
Yeah.
I'd love to get your thoughts on one more thing.
Okay.
If someone wanted to start incorporating nettle into their life, what would be your top recommendations?
That's a great question.
Yeah?
I think the best approach is to start simple and experiment to see what works best for you.
Okay, so walk me through it.
Okay.
What would those 4 steps look like?
Well, I'd say start with nettle tea. It's easy to make and a gentle way to introduce nettle to your system. You can experiment with the traditional cold infusion method we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
or simply steep dried nettle leaves in hot water for a few minutes.
Right. Nettle tea. Check.
Yeah.
What else?
Once you're comfortable with nettle tea,
Yeah.
you can start getting more adventurous.
Okay.
Try adding fresh nettle to your smoothies or soups.
Okay.
Just remember to blanch or lightly crush the leaves first.
Right. Don't want any unexpected sting.
Exactly.
Okay.
And if you're feeling really adventurous,
Yeah.
you could look into trying urtication for pain relief.
Oh, okay.
But again, do your research
Yeah.
and make sure you're comfortable with the technique before giving it a try.
And maybe consult with an expert. Right.
Absolutely.
Just to be safe.
And remember, it's all about listening to your body and finding what feels right for you. There's no one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to working with plants like nettle.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive.
It-
I feel like I've learned so much about a plant I used to completely overlook.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of nature.
Yeah.
There's always something new to discover, even in the most unexpected places.
Really is.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I went into this deep dive thinking we were going to be talking about a simple weed. But this has been so much more than that.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
It's amazing how quickly our perspective can shift
Yeah.
once we start to look a little deeper. isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like I've gained a newfound appreciation for the power and wisdom of nature.
And that's exactly what Irène Grosjean is trying to do through her work.
Yeah.
She wants to help people reconnect with nature and rediscover the healing power of plants like nettle.
I think she's onto something.
Yeah.
This whole conversation has me thinking about all the other so-called weeds that we might be dismissing without realizing their potential benefits.
It's a great point. There's a whole world of natural remedies out there just waiting to be explored. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from our deep dive today.
Okay.
It's not just about nettle. It's about approaching nature with a sense of curiosity and wonder.
Yeah.
And being open to learning from its wisdom.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
This has been such an insightful and inspiring conversation.
It has been.
I feel like I'm walking away with a whole new perspective on nettles and on the potential of the natural world to support our health and well-being.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And you're not alone.
Really?
There's a growing movement of people who are rediscovering the power of plants and herbal remedies.
Oh, wow.
And looking to nature for sustainable and holistic approaches to health.
That's so encouraging to hear.
It is.
So as we wrap up, what would you say to someone who is listening and feeling inspired to explore the world of natural remedies, but maybe doesn't know where to start?
That's a great question. I'd say the most important thing is to start with a curious mind and an open heart. Don't be afraid to experiment. Do your research.
Yeah.
And most importantly, listen to your body.
I love that advice.
It's good advice.
It's about trusting our own intuition and inner wisdom, as well as learning from the wisdom of nature.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, you don't have to become an expert overnight.
Okay.
Start with one plant that interests you, like nettle.
Yeah.
And learn everything you can about it.
Okay.
Read books. Talk to herbalists.
Yeah.
And get hands-on experience growing it or using it in your everyday life.
Such great advice.
Thank you.
And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe the next time you see a patch of nettles growing along the roadside, you'll see them not as pesky weeds, but as powerful allies in your journey toward health and well-being.
That's a beautiful image to end on.
Yeah, it is.
So, to all our listeners out there,
keep exploring, keep learning,
and keep embracing the amazing power of nature.
And until next time,
Yeah.
happy deep diving.